Hey, this is Capricorntigress, Adrian Igo, with Astrology, a look inside. And I'm doing my take on the monthly astrology readings. These are just general impressions, nothing fancy, just something so that you can get an idea of what might be going on in the month of August. I did all of these as of August 1st so that you guys can get a general idea of the influence of the month coming up ahead. So, the first thing I want to do is just discuss with Taurus here that, oh, and I didn't discuss all of your aspects like I wanted to, but here I've noticed that, you know, you've got Uranus in your solar first house. Uranus in your solar first house. That means somehow, some way, your personality is going to be changing. It's going to be adjusting, doing something different, unique, weird, not quite you, different. You're feeling it. You feel like you're one step from doing something you know you would never have done before. And this is for those born in the early degrees of Taurus. You probably are already feeling that. After a while, all of you Tauruses will feel it over the next, you know, I would say 7 years or so. But for your early degrees Taurus, you're already feeling that. There's something makes you want to do weird things. Now, the other things that, you know, there's still emphasis this month because the month starts out with the moon in your 12th house. You know, it's in Aries and Chiron's there and they're conjunct. So I don't know what's going on in your 12th house. That's a house of secrets for you. But whatever Aries is doing in that 12th house in the beginning of the month of August, I know Chiron's going to be there for a while. But you might feel that. You might feel that on August 1st and, you know, thereabout. The big emphasis for you, though, in the month of August is going to be your home and your family, because Leo is basically down in that area for you guys, and home, family life, but something, it's positive though, it's not negative, because the sun is there, Mercury is there, the North Node is there, and whenever I see the North Node somewhere and I see the sun there, I know that it is a positive. It's what you're supposed to be focusing on. It's not like it's a negative experience. So, you know, I don't know if you have a move plan, or if you're looking, if you know, you wanted to get a new house, or you put your house up on the market, or you want to get into real estate, or you know, any of those fourth house things. Now, it could be that, you know, it has something to do with your actual family. Like, for some Taurus, I could see even, you know, a new family member coming, because there's also Venus in Virgo, which is your solar fifth house. So it could manifest in that way. There's just a lot of positive that could come from your home and family life. So I would just look at it from, you know, that viewpoint, that it's something positive that's coming your way, hopefully, from your home and your family life. And even though, well, no, because that's somewhere else. But I wanted to talk real quick about the Virgo, the Venus in Virgo, which is in your fifth house. And what was I about to say a moment ago? That was, okay, I just wanted to make sure that there were no aspects between the Leo and that Jupiter in Scorpio. And there actually will be. Mercury will be squaring Jupiter in Scorpio. And it will be doing that as of the first of, yeah, the first week in the first few weeks, you might feel that in August. Mercury will be squaring no, it's squaring Jupiter, right? right? Mercury squaring Jupiter, right? Okay, and making it in conjunct to Pluto. It's making it in conjunct to Pluto. So, okay, so that's what you're looking at there. But it's very wide, and I wouldn't pay much attention to that. So anyway, looking at the Venus in the 5th house in Virgo. You know, my daughter has Virgo in the 5th house, and the 5th house is one of my favorite houses now, because I always say it's the house of the star, and, you know, stars are born in the 5th house. Entrepreneurial adventures are also sprung out of the 5th house, but most importantly, gambling, taking chances, risk-taking, playing a lotto, scratchy tickets, all that type of thing. That's all indicated by the 5th house, as well as romance and things of that nature. With Venus in the 5th house, it shows that these things will be very positive for you during the month of August. So if you're looking for a relation or romance, you know, it's might not be a serious romance, but a good summertime romance might occur with Venus in the 5th house. Your children might also bring you a lot of joy in the month of August. So it could also manifest that you feel a great deal of joy from your children. I wanted to discuss also that Jupiter, which I kind of mentioned earlier, but Jupiter is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is the opposite sign of Taurus. So Scorpio Jupiter has been opposing your Taurus sun since November, and you may be feeling that. It's in your 7th house, or your solar 7th house, and so, you know, that could mean a lot of things. That, you know, with Jupiter in the 7th house, it could mean that your relationship or marriage is doing really well. Like, you could be really happy in your marriage or your relationship, or you might find that you are getting married, if you weren't already, or that there's something largesse or big or majestic about your partner. I mean, Jupiter in the 7th house is partnerships. So you might find that even with professional partnerships, that you're getting either an abundance of professional partnerships or something of that nature, or you know, you might even get a marriage proposal. All of these things, if you're not married, these are the type of things that are possible when Jupiter is going through the 7th house. And now I want to say this, and not to scare you anything, but, you know, Scorpio is a very dark sign, and with it on the 7th house, it could indicate there's some hidden enemies or some kind of hidden secret thing with enemies that you might not even know about. And that's that. Taurus is such a hell well met type of person. They might not be aware that there's, you know, one or two or more enemies out there, because open enemies are indicated by that 7th house, and I could see where that could be an issue. And earlier I mentioned, I believe I did, if I didn't I'll mention it now, that you've got Chiron in the 12th house. So that shows where hidden enemies are, or where hidden things are. So there could be something brewing, you know, there that you not aware of, and but it could also mean that your enemies and you break bread, you make up. I mean, it's Jupiter. It's very positive. I would love to think that that's what happens instead of anything negative. Also, I wanted to discuss that Capricorn emphasis up in the 9th house, because Pluto and Saturn are both in that 9th house. And Saturn is actually making a trine to Uranus, which is transiting in Taurus right now, which is your sign. And so this Saturn is in the ninth house may indicate that travel may not be easy for you right now. For some reason, your travel is indicated. And it could indicate travel. It could indicate this situation where there's difficulty in education, like if you're in a college or in a university. There might be some issues with religion. It might just not be for you right now. You might have issues with in-laws. All of these are possible, but actually when they're trying, it's not so much that they're issues, it's more that they're flowing, because it's a flow. It's a flow between these planets. So maybe with the trine to Saturn from your ninth house, this might be a good time to break through whatever has been blocking you from travel. You might be able to do something suddenly. And with Pluto there in the ninth house, I could foresee sudden, where it seemed like it was a dead end, or it was dead in the water, or you given up on it. It could rise suddenly from the ashes, because Pluto is, the phoenix that rises from the ashes. And so something that you might have given up on or thought was, especially when it comes to things like religion and travel and education and spirituality, it could be something like that. It could be something to do with a court case, or something to do with a lawsuit, or anything like that. But it's positive, it's not negative. Remember that. Also, this month has the emphasis of Mars in your 10th house. And having Mars sitting up in the 10th house is never a bad thing. Although it can, Mars can be a little aggressive, and it tends to get a little aggressive in the 10th house. So, that's something to be aware of. Being overly aggressive in your career, maybe saying things or doing things in your career that might come off as a little rough or gruff or brusque. So you might want to watch that, because Mars is a very aggressive, in your face kind of sign, and Mars is up in the 10th house in your face. Now, I will say this, even though Mars is technically going to be square that Uranus that you have in your first house, squares sometimes mean action. So if you have been unemployed, or not doing well in your career, this could mean you might be able to go for a job and actually get employed right now. Or it could, because it rules friction, it could mean friction with your career and because of your personality. So this is something to definitely keep in mind during the month of August in particular. You've got Neptune in your 11th house. It's in Pisces, but it's in the solar 11th house. And Neptune just is that confusion. I sort of mentioned that confusion a little bit earlier with the friends, not knowing if you got friends coming for you, or friends who aren't friends, right? They're actually enemies or hidden enemies. You didn't know it. You thought they were friends. You might discover who they are this month, or just, just realize that you've got these potential hidden enemies or enemies out in the open, and you're not aware of it, because you've got this Neptune, which is a very long-lasting influence, sitting in the 11th house. Neptune is a very loving, I don't even know if it's so much that it's loving, it's more like a spiritual or ephemeral kind of love. And so you might have this desire to have like a, brotherly love to all type feeling going on. You might even belong to organizations or groups that promote things like tolerance, or peace, or I'm just trying to think of Pisces things. It might just be in groups that have to do with creativity, like music and art and, movies or something like that. But I could see where being involved in groups and organizations might, your friends, there might be some confusion there. And I just don't know how that's going to play out for you. But be aware that you do have Chiron up in the 12th house, so there could be some issues there, and Jupiter is in that 7th house of open enemies. So I want you to be aware of that as well. Overall, though, you've got an outie chart. Most of your planets are going to be up over the horizon, even though you've got the Sun and Mercury and Venus down below the horizon. And so you're going to feel, or hopefully this will be a month where you want to, express yourself, get out and mingle and get to know people. I would resist the urge to sit in a house, and you will have the urge to sit in a house because the Sun's in the 4th house. And so you'll want to do that in the North Node there. But push yourself, get out, and enjoy the sun, enjoy summer. Okay, well, this was Capricorntigress with Adrian Igo with Astrology, a look inside. And this was my general reading for Taurus for the month of August. Can't believe we're in August already. It's amazing. Anyway, I wish you much love and much light for the month of August. Mwah! I love you, Taurus. Okay. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.